Well, I drew the short straw. You know, whenever there's a speech and there's several speakers, you don't ever want to be in the middle. And you don't want to follow somebody like Porter Davis. So he took everything I had to say. But I'm going to try it anyway. But he did a great job, don't you think so? I'm so excited to be here today. I'm excited to be with you, and I appreciate every one of you for being here today, for standing up for Ron Paul and doing everything that you're doing across our great state and country to bring back freedom to our country. I'm honored to be here with you today, and I'm honored to stand up with you and endorse Ron Paul for president. No other candidate is 100% for the Constitution like Ron Paul is. No one comes close to it, as much as they want to claim that they're going to support the Constitution and they're for the Constitution. We know that Ron Paul is not just saying the right things, he's been doing the right things for a long time. And like many of you, I've been watching him for many years, all the time that I've been involved in political activity for 20 plus years, and admiring him from a distance as he's shown us what a leader is supposed to be. I was at church today and we got to talking about leaders in church and in politics and all other areas of life, and then our conversation went to public servants. That's what our elected officials really are. They're public servants. And Ron Paul's shown us what a public servant is supposed to be. I got to meet Ron Paul about 10 years ago. And he was the same man that you see on TV all the time, that you read about, the same guy, very humble, very willing to spend time with somebody that just came into his office without an appointment, unlike many public officials, and especially the higher up, the more demands on their time, and difficult to get them to stop and talk to you. And he spent a lot of time talking to me and others as we were at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. And you know, he's been reminding us for over 20 years how important our heritage is and how important it is that we follow the Constitution. And as the saying goes from one of a famous historian, something like this, that those who refuse to learn from history will be forced to relive it. And so here we are in the days that we live in now, in current times, and we're being faced with many of the same issues and crises that we've faced in the past in this country and that humankind has. And people forget. Ron Paul's been reminding us for many years, and other people like him, of why we need to stay close to the Constitution and the rule of law. And if we don't, we'll have problems. And we've got big problems. And it's unfortunate it takes times like this to wake people up. You know, one of the big problems that we've got today is this war on terror, or the war on radical Islam, or whatever you want to call it. And for whatever reason people think that we're there, or if they think we should be there, the thing with this particular issue that seems to resonate and hit home with everyone is the fact that it costs so much. It's going to bankrupt our nation. And we've got to do something about that. I think that's the message we've got to get people to realize, and we've got to engage them on that issue, because that's something we can all come together on. You know, if you think it's from a Christian or spiritual point of view that we should be in that war, or because of fear or the terror threat, the bottom line is we will go bankrupt if we continue to engage in this war as we've done. The dollar is dropping like a rock. The Joint Economic Committee of Congress recently put out a report that said that just our current obligations because of this war, the current obligations, it will cost us at least $3.5 trillion. Well, where's the money going to come from?
Out of thin air.
Thin air, right. They've been printing it up so quick, the dollar's dropping like a rock. And that doesn't leave much money for other things that people want. And people aren't thinking about that because their leaders aren't talking to them about that. But I'm glad Porter said all the things he did. I think another important thing is for people, and I wish the media would spend more time on this. When you talk about this war on terror, look who the military is supporting. More military, retired and active military people are supporting Ron Paul than any other candidate, Democrat or Republican. And they've given more dollars than any other candidates received from military. That speaks volumes, that says a lot. You know, Ron Paul will secure our borders. Here in Oklahoma, it's the biggest issue, is the illegal alien immigration issue. And it's just kind of like the war on terror. Wherever you fall on that issue, whatever you think about it, it is helping to bankrupt our state and many states around the country, and our country is suffering economically because of that problem. Ron Paul will fix that problem. Finally, we have a candidate that won't violate the Constitution and our civil rights. And his policies will fix things like the Social Security system that's almost bankrupt, depending on what numbers you look at. He'll protect private property and stop the illegal use of eminent domain. Ron Paul's solutions are the only solutions that will fix our health care crisis. Ron Paul is the only candidate that will turn his back on the UN and the international trade agreements. And Ron Paul is the only candidate, he's the only candidate that will fix our banking system that causes inflation and is destroying the middle class. And I'm proud to be here with you today to endorse him, and I've got a recent message that I got on text message while we were sitting here. I'm not the only state legislator to endorse him today. There's another legislator that's come here, text messaged me, and he's going to speak to you in just a second, that said, tell him you speak for both of us. And that's Jason Murphy of Guthrie, Oklahoma.